Okay, so in this episode, I want to create some command line commands like set model endpoint, set model name, etc. So those will be used for our tool. So like we can set OpenAI or DeepSeek models and their endpoints. So let's go. Okay, so in last episode we have created this test command, so we do not need a test command, so I'll just remove that. But okay, so let's define the commands first. So we'll need set model endpoint, and then that will accept an URL, and so for that URL we have to actually set dot argument so argument will be basically URL, so it will accept an URL, and then yeah, so that's okay, and then we can just say instead of print we should say click dot echo yeah, that should work. Okay, so let's do a test how that work. So we do poetry installed. See, oh, I'm just using a separate window to keep it clean. Okay, so do a poetry install inside this. Okay, now IQ set what was the command? Set model endpoint. And then URL is just https api.openai.com/api. So let's see. Okay, so maybe we have to use this. Set model endpoint. Okay, so the previous one was good, and then arguments, this is the arguments. Set, oh, and this is okay, no such option URL. How do we do that? So this is our URL, like argument URL main command and then wait, looks good. And then argument is set properly, so oh no, I just need to save it. Okay, let's no, this should be already be there, but it's just okay. Let's do an help in here. Oh, options, and then URL is just like that. Okay. How do we do like hyphen URL? Okay, so this actually has worked, so that's fine. Okay, let's do. I mean, we are not doing much of anything, but let's do that thingy. So command and then set model name. Just put a name here. And then name. Okay, so setting model name. Okay, so that's that, and then set. Okay, so we have URL, model name, and then we need API key. So we have that. Say API key. API key, and then setting API key to API key to API key. Okay, so that's basically that, 3 things, and then model name, API key, and then there let's define another one, show config. Oh, I have lost the buffer somehow. Copy, paste. We don't need a show, we don't need this one, and then we just need show config, and then current config. Okay, so we'll show parent config here. All right, model endpoint, API key, no, API key, model key, model name, API, set API key, or I just say set API key. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's basically it, and then let's install again. Install. Okay, so IQ we have set API key, the set test, and then set model name test. Model. Okay, so we have this done now. So what we want to do is basically we want to add a new library to do our configuration. The name of this library is platform name of this is basically okay, so let's do this. We need user configuration directory, and then we just use JSON for this one. Okay, so just user so let's add the configuration directory using platform directory. So platform directories, and then we just use a known version that works, that is 4.3.8. okay, let's see. Yeah, so that's for now. Here let's did I just closed it? Okay, let's do poetry install and see if it is being installed correctly. Oh, everything is up to date, yeah, because I have that already. Okay, and now let's go back to this one, and then okay, so first we want to do some loading, so let's put our name. So application name, we'll need application name basically. So put our app name, we have to just put like that, and then config file equals we need path from pathlib import path. Okay, and then from platform directories import use actually user user config directory. Okay, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to create a path for the current, basically path for user config directory using app name, and then basically just say I'll just say config.json. So we'll put it in as a JSON file. So, and then path should close here. Okay, so that's basically it. I have a config file path and let's just define a few function. Say save config, right? Def save config, and then we will supply a configuration, and just put a type here, dictionary. Okay. Yeah, so so if the configuration file does not does not exist, then we should create one. So let's do that. Config file dot parent dot so make directory. What we should do is if we should parents put, create everything, and then exist, if it is exist just fine. So yeah, so we we could probably put it in the like global scope, but that's fine. You just do that way. Okay. So and then a config file dot write let's say text, and then we will just dump JSON dot. Okay, so let's just import JSON. And where did it go? Here. Okay, JSON dot dumps. Yeah, dumps, and then we just config and dumps, and then this is right. Okay, that should do it, I guess. So let's define the load as well. Let's define a load config, and for load config we don't need anything because we have defined the config file path on the line 6. Just let's just check it if config file dot exists. Otherwise we may not have written it yet. Just open it, open config file as file, just return something. So let's say config equal to JSON dot load or loads. Load is, I think, yeah, loads is SC string, so we need a file here. Okay, return. Okay, so if not, then okay, so if it does not exist, return just empty. Yeah, it just return empty, so should be good. Okay, so now what we do, so we have an URL here, so let's so set model endpoint, that is in URL. So when we save it, we should basically say this. So first let's see if there is a config already there. So config equal to, okay, config equals load config, okay, and then config say we want to save here URL, right? Instead of just saying URL, let's say endpoint URL. Endpoint URL equals just you are just saving that URL, and why there is an issue here, I don't know. Okay, and then save. Okay, so that's basically it. Save config, yeah, that's done. And now what we can do is just we just should call the function. Okay, so let's do this. Just copy this and paste here. Just paste name, this will be name, and then here instead of endpoint URL we just say model name. Okay, and then save, and here API key, so paste it, and then API key. okay, and then save. And then okay, so it's just current config. So config equals load config if there is something there. So if config, it will always be true, but anyway, so just go through for key value in config dot items. So for each of these items, what we should do is just print it, right? Click dot so equal. Okay, so we should be like this, and then first key, and then let's put a colon here, and then value here, and then that should be it. Okay, so there is one thing. So if the okay, so if key equals API key, I think we should put v equals basically something like this. So yeah, we do not want to print API key in our stuff. Okay, so that, all right. Yeah, let's just install it again. Okay, so let's pause, and in a separate place we just put all those values, and then we'll see how, if we load it, how it looks. Okay, let's see. IQ show config. Okay, so we have current config, API key, model name, and endpoint URL. All three is there. So yeah, so that's basically what we have here. Yeah, pretty much like that. I'm not familiar with I was not familiar with the platform directories. Yes, but I mean every language has something to do with the platform, so we have used it here. And then one thing we can do is config file path. So if we want to show the config file name, right? Okay, let's just do this. Yank it, and then paste it. Show config file path. And then that will be config file. Let's just put it in here. show config file path. Okay, so this may be like useful sometimes. Install iq show config file path. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. If we go there, I mean, if you open it, I do not want to open it because this is actually my DL key. So that's basically it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, just only one file. Adult model API model configuration commands. Using click, I don't think we don't need that. We need that. Okay. API model key. Okay. So that's basically it. We do not need any other thing, I think. Let me think about it. So we need the API endpoint, the model name, and the key. Yeah, that's it. We can use those three, and then if we need anything else, we'll add it to the. All right, so that's for today. See you next time.